Right, loyal subjects. Your king is here to discuss New Muties 59. Part 1 of the New Muties' Fall of the Muties story. Fall of the Muties wasn't really a crossover. It was treated like a crossover, but it was really a branding for 3 supposedly big stories in the 3 ongoing Excellent Men books. Extra Factors add the most important stuff, with Armageddon and Wingman being reborn, and some actual crossover with other titles like Captain America and Daredevil. Uncanny Excellent Men was a joke with them fighting an all-new, all-shit bad guy, which was Christopher Clairvoyant introducing a mad Jim Jaspers rip-off because he wasn't allowed to use mad Jim Jaspers. Then we have New Muties, and New Muties is easily seen as the least significant, but it's also not the worst of the 3. It's not as good as Extra Factors, but it is a lot better than Uncanny Excellent Men. We do have some backstory to cover. The New Muties have adopted a bird creature as a pet/friend. He is called McNugget, and he loves McDonald's. McNugget is a character most people seem to hate, but I think even calling him a character is a bit of a reach. He was introduced 3 issues earlier, in issue 56. This strange bird man that cannot speak and just wants to eat everything. The New Muties started looking after him and tried to teach and train him to be less of a strange bird man. But at the end of the day, McNugget loves McDonald's. That is it. That is all there is to say about the character. McNugget has led them to an island, his apparent home, a mysterious island, and we have the mad scientist who created McNugget, Dr. Moreau, a nutty geneticist who thinks humans are shit and that animals are superior. He creates these weird animal men by combining animal and human DNA. He's also fucking cruel and evil to his creations and trains them through starvation. Fantastic, creepy design for him. He genuinely looks perfect. He is a tremendous notch above the shite Jim Jaspers ripoff in Uncanny Excellent Men. This guy is vile and weird, and I will admit a bit stock and a bit derivative himself. But what really sells him most of all is the art. He also uses the official anti-book of the Marvel Universe, so he's a baddie with class. He has a pretty good, up-to-date edition of it too, because it doesn't list Magmar as a member, and she only left a few issues ago. After this story, shockingly, Dr. Moreau doesn't go on to become a returning villain. In fact, he barely even has another appearance. I think that is crazy because this guy has so much personality in design alone. I said he barely has another appearance because he does have one other appearance. 24 years after Fall of the Muties, Dr. Moreau makes a return in Dan Andy's New Muties run, and it isn't any good like all of that run. McNugget is also in that story, and even McNugget doesn't fare much better than Moreau for further use. Although he is in a Black Star issue in the 90s, McNugget is in that, although he is only really used as a plot beat. I do think Moreau could have easily been brought back to be in an Excellent Force story or in another Excellent Men series. He really does have a fantastic weirdo thing going on. Here, the New Muties follow McNugget and find other animal men, and McNugget shares his McDonald's with them. And the teenagers pretty much learn that these creatures are being starved and abused and neglected by Dr. Moreau. And what are teenagers if they're not willing to get righteously indignant for a cause? Meanwhile, back in the United States of the USA, Eclipse and the annoying robot return to Excellent Men House. They have been away for a while. They were busy starring in Fallen Angles, a miniseries that McNugget and Dr. Moreau would not seem weird in. And we have some Mr. Magnets, and I'm not in love with him being so joyous and happy that the pair have finally returned to his care. He's too much like a father. I suppose if anyone wanted, they could say his fatherly attitude towards the New Muties was overcompensating for his woeful treatment of his actual children. But the thing is, nobody does say that. He is just written as an infallible redemptive saint by Christopher Clairvoyant, and then haphazardly between Good and Evil by Louis Simons, before finally he is firmly evil again. Back on Paradise Island, that is what it is actually called, the New Muties gan about trying to help McNugget and the other animal men, and so they are accosted by more monstrous animal men. These ones, specifically these ones here, they come back in that 2012 story too. And it is about time to talk about the fantastic art that props up so much of this. Bethany Belieber is on the surface a pure cartoonist, with his depiction of the New Muties making them look like children, and designs like McNugget and Dr. Moreau being frightfully offbeat. We have these tremendous animal men and monster people. We have Mr. Magnet looking like an angry fossil with giant eyebrows. This is all great. It works with these elements of the story, the Monster Island, and it also works for Hammer and Orm that these are new muties, they are children. I actually love Bethany Belieber's art in this. It is great. And the guy, or the girl, because Bethany is a girl's name, but this is 2024. That doesn't matter anymore. The guy is mainly known for New Muties, And the other thing is Morpheus. He co-created Daniel Morpheus, which is another fantastic design. He did art on Morpheus for a while. He bows out during the Affinity Wars tie-ins, which is very helpful for me because the only issues of that series available on digital are issues 1 and this one, the first one that he doesn't do art for. Those are his two main things, New Muties and Morpheus. And I wish he had a lot more than that. He did do a few issues of Ghost Driver in the 90s. Sadly, kinda at the point where that stuff was becoming bad. And the other thing is he did a fill-in issue of Uncanny Excellent Men about a year before taking over New Muties. 219. That didn't really play to his strengths. And he hadn't really worked out his style yet. For an artist that, at the very least, does spectacular design work, I think it is appalling that he didn't become as big as the Image Comics lot. And there is a lot of similarities between his art and Todd McFarlane or Brie Larson's granddad or even Robert Liefeldman. But the takeaway is that he is more inventive and his style is better realised than any of them. Some action here with the New Muties battling the Animal Men, and they end up as captives of Moreau. As far as I am concerned, any page or panel with Moreau visible is artistic gold. Never as a pathetic bad guy looked so inventively horrible. Case in point, this page. And it's not only the art either. I am doing a disservice to Louis Simon's writing, which isn't bad either. Here we have Moreau espouse some rhetoric which explains some of his agenda and origin. But what I like about it is Wolf's Girl, a character who I like whenever she's not written by Christopher Clairvoyant. She takes offence to Moreau's appropriation of certain religious ideas, so she gets smacked in the face for speaking up. And we end this chapter with our young heroes prisoners to the depraved Moreau, who wishes to have them all destroyed. Time has never been kind to this story. A mix of butthurt Christopher Clairvoyant fanboys and the zanier characters and designs being misconstrued or misunderstood as corny or lame or childish. This is a great story. The art is fantastic, and the best thing anyone can say about it is that Christopher Clairvoyant would never do a story like this. And that is why it is getting 7 thumbs up.